Well, it's 7 years post-recession, and U.S. still struggling to find its way back. The economy actually experiencing the worst post-recession recovery since 1949. We see that number in the GDP. It was a disappointing 1.2%. You remember that last week for the last quarter. And anecdotally, Americans reporting that they just don't feel there's a recovery. Certainly not the one that the Democrats are touting. So with the economy being one of the most important issues to voters and next to terrorism and national security, how can either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton ensure that America gets back on the right track? Joining me now, John Tamny and Kevin Paul Scott. John, you and I talk all the time. You crunch the numbers. You know them as well as anyone else. But there's also how people feel, and they just don't jive. Those two things are certainly a counter to each other. Even the numbers really, to be quite frank, aren't anything to brag about either.
No, they're not. In fairness, GDP is a very flawed figure. Government spending, by definition, holds back economic growth, but it actually drives up GDP. Imports are a certain sign of prosperity, yet that actually brings GDP down. But the main thing is you can't have economic growth if you meddle in recessions. We meddled in the recession back in 08-09. We're still suffering it today.
Kevin, 2.1% average, this so-called recovery, the lowest in history. Yet the Democrats are saying things have gotten so much better, pointing to that brief period when their meltdown was at its worst through the presidential transition of power.
Yeah, there's no question the Democrats have a problem right now because there are two things that you've alluded to. There's the facts of the recovery, which is very slim, and there's the feelings of the American people. And both the facts and the feelings are not in Hillary's favor. And if you go back to the convention last week, Hillary has basically hitched her wagon to Obama's horse and said, we're going to ride out the Obama legacy. And if the economy continues to not feel good to the American people, that could really hurt her in November. And it's going to play in Trump's favor when he says the outlook isn't good. We need change in this country.
John, you talked about meddling in recessions. It sounds like Hillary Clinton promising something extraordinary. We're talking maybe $1 trillion plus stimulus package out the gate if she's elected. I mean, really, if you read between the lines, of course, forgiving student loans, and we're talking about interference in the terms of trillions of dollars.
Oh, Hillary completely misses the point. What she misunderstands is that if President Obama had played golf all of his first term, he would be sitting on a booming economy right now, and her path to the White House would be much easier. Recessions are healthy. They are a sign of an economy cleansing itself of all the misuses of labor, all the bad companies, all the lousy investment. Republicans and Democrats meddled in what was healthy in 08 and 09, and because they did, we never got the boom. It's killing Hillary, and it's going to be hung on the Democrats.
Kevin, what do you make of a lot of people on Wall Street and some major business owners? We just heard Warren Buffett rip Donald Trump. Why are they reluctant to jump on this Trump train, particularly when it comes to economics? I mean, every business owner, especially small businesses, want lower taxes. They want less regulations. They don't want to get beaten up because they kicked up some dust while they were building a factory.
Yeah, well, the challenge with some of these individuals is they say they want the government to stay out of the financial markets until it's their own issue, and then they want the government to intervene. And the reality is that this is not just Democrats. Democrats and Republicans have bailed out a lot of these elites, and they're worried that Donald Trump's not going to do it, that he is going to do what he says he's going to do, and that scares them. And this is the thing. The argument that Bernie Sanders made is that Hillary is in the back pocket of Wall Street, and I think you're seeing that. And there's a lot of people who, they may not love a lot of Democratic policies, but they feel like they'd have a lot more sway over a Hillary administration than they would a Donald Trump one.
I keep saying, move. Some people are saying, move over gravy train, here comes the Trump train. Hey, you guys are two of the best. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.